What's going on, Seville? Welcome to another episode of the Seville Sports Mentality Show. I am your host, the Sports Rev, aka the Reverend Dr. Michael Clayton Harris. I'm glad to have you on another week to give you some sports coverage of your Coatesville varsity sports. So come on in, chime in, let us know that you're tuning in. And we're glad not only to be streaming on Facebook and YouTube this week, but also we want to give a big shout out to those who are watching on Instagram. Glad to have you for this is the very first Seville Sports Mentality show that we've ever streamed on Instagram. So we appreciate you all tuning in. And if you don't mind, please like and share this broadcast. Somebody said sharing is caring. And share this broadcast on tonight. Let somebody know that you're watching the Seville Sports Mentality Show on the 610, the Seville Sports Network. So we greatly appreciate those who will share this broadcast. Like, if you haven't already done so, follow us on Instagram. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel and like or follow us on Facebook. All right? That'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. And shortly, I'll be bringing in my co-host for this particular episode, one of our task force members who you all got introduced to as a task force member, but she's no stranger to Coatesville sports, nor the city of Coatesville. Keisha Middleton, the assistant athletic director of the Lincoln University, will be my co-host on today, so she'll join me shortly. As we always start our show, we call this the cash check-in. So we want all our cash graduates, if you don't mind, check in. Let us know what year you graduated. Also, if you're not a cash graduate, check in. Let us know that you're tuning in. Go ahead and put that in the chat. Those on Instagram, we won't be able to see any comments that you make on the screen, but feel free to make all the comments that you desire to do so. We can only pull up the comments on Facebook and YouTube. So if by chance somebody's tuning in right now, come on with this cash check-in. Let us know that you're tuning in. And if you're a cash graduate, especially, go ahead on and let us know what year you graduated from cash. All right? And as we continue on, we're going to wait for somebody to at least check in. For I see we do have some viewers, and we're going to see who's checking in. Kathy Winsler checking in. The class of 1965 is in the Seville Sports Mentality building. Thank you so much for checking in, Sister Kathy. Anybody else want to check in, feel free to do so. Put it in the chat. We'll give you a few more seconds. If you want to check in during the course of the show, feel free to do so. But we got to keep this train moving because we have a lot of good action prepared for you on this afternoon or this evening. We got our volleyball coach, Coach Aaron Bowman, who is with us. He's behind stage ready to rock and roll. And also we have Coach Jason Castaldi, the golf coach, who will be checking in with us on tonight. And hopefully we'll have Coach Matt Ortega, the football coach, joining us a little later. So we have an action-packed show designed for you on today. And as anybody wants to do so, feel free to check in. But while we're waiting for some others to check in, it's been my pleasure to give what we call Red Raiders respect. And this is where we give some love to those Red Raiders who did some phenomenal things this past sports week between last episode to this episode. So if you don't mind, let's show some Red Raiders respect to a few of our Red Raiders who did a phenomenal job in the sports world this week. Here it is. Let's go. can you show some love, do some hearts and some likes for the Red Raiders who did an exceptional job this past week? We're showing Red Raiders respect to the Coatesville football defense. That defense was on fire. They had 3 fourth down stops against Garnett Valley on Friday night under the Friday Night Lights and Cash. Then our quarterback definitely showed up and showed out. Matt Ortega Jr. went 15 for 16 passing for 227 yards and 3 TDs. So we're showing some Red Raiders respect to Matt Ortega Jr. Also, we want to show some Red Raiders respect to senior Jada Marshall of the girls tennis team, who played a solid match against her opponent from WC East on this past Friday. Also, we're showing some Red Raiders respect to junior Braden Jacket of the golf team, who shot a 35 last Thursday, which was the top score between them, the Coatesville, and their opponent, Bishop Shanahan. He shot the best score out of all the golfers. And also, we want to show Red Raiders respect to Nuge Willett, who was tied for the second best score overall, where he shot a 40 last Thursday. So we show Red Raiders respect to all of the Red Raiders who did some phenomenal things this past week. All right. With that being said, we're going to move this train on. And during the past week, I was able to catch some practices and even a game. And well, matter of fact, right here, we want to show some coverage from the Coatesville girls tennis team. They don't get a whole lot of love, but we wanted to make sure that we showed them some love this past week. And I was able to catch their game against WC East, Westchester East, on Friday. And I was able to catch an interview with Coach Von Seal Gray, the assistant coach. And also we were able to get an interview with senior number 1 player on the team, Jada Marshall. So let's check out the Red Raiders girls tennis team and the footage that I was able to get from them. This is Sports Rep 610 Seaville Sports Network, interviewing Coach Gray, the assistant coach for the girls tennis team. Coach Gray, how long have you been coaching tennis here at Coatesville?
3 years.
And in those 3 years, what have you all accomplished?
We're still in the rebuilding stage, so as we go along, we'll get better.
For this season, what will be your expectation?
To win at least one match.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Girls, never ever. You got to make sure you have the racket here, out, so you can hit this way. Okay? And if you're hitting a lot of this right here, you don't have distance between you and the racket. If you want to hit a backhand, it's going to be here, this way.
My name is Jada. I am in class of 2026 going into 12th grade. Our team expectation is to just learn more about tennis and to win matches. My personal expectation is to just get better and see the growth and just have fun.
If you don't mind, can you show some love to the Seaville girls tennis team who are working hard and trying to do their best? And we thank Coach Gray for taking the interview on behalf of the girls tennis team. Just before the show today, I was able to sneak in on the girls soccer team who's gearing up for their game on Wednesday. They lost 2 tough games during the weekend as they start the season, and they have another game this Wednesday. and I was able to get into their practice. And I want to thank Coach Crummerer for allowing me to get a little bit of coverage during today's practice. And also we were able to interview 3 of the young ladies who's a part of that wonderful team. Let's look at the footage that I was able to get from the girls' soccer team practice.
I'm a senior at Coastal High School and I'm currently captain for the girls soccer team. My expectations for our team is to hopefully hit the playoffs and continue to give it our all during practice, games, everything. My personal goal is to better myself every day and to motivate others and continue to be a good team leader. Hi, I'm Danica Aronson. I'm a senior, and my expectations for this team is to keep building off of what we did last year and keep building to our ultimate goal of playoffs. And my personal expectation is to keep leading in a positive and encouraging manner.
With the Sports Rep for 610, the Seville Sports Network, interviewing Coachville soccer player Natalia Hansen. Natalia, what is your classification?
I am in my sophomore year of high school.
This summer you had the opportunity to play for the USA Under-15 national soccer team. Also, you were an ECNL All-American. What do those honors mean to you?
It means to me that other people around me are noticing the hard work and dedication I put into my sport, and they're appreciating it.
Now that you're playing for Coachville, getting ready for another season, what are your team expectations?
My team expectations is to improve on how we did last year and to notice the difference between our hard work and for other teams to know that we are trying.
As you talked about your team expectations, what are your personal expectations?
My personal expectations is to be a good leader for this team and hopefully to lead more victories this year.
Thank you for your time, Natalia. Best wishes.
Thank you.
All right. We thank the girls' team, soccer team for allowing us to interview them on today and also get some coverage. And we'll make sure that we post these videos that were played during the show individually so you can like them, and we'll definitely make the adjustment to the sound for the girls' soccer team. But with that being said, I want to bring in Coachville sports legend, state champion, task force member, and my co-host on today. Coachville, show some love to Coachville's own Keisha Middleton. What's going on, Keisha?
Nothing much. Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing well. The question is, how are you?
I'm amazing. Couldn't ask for a better day.
Well, that's good, and I'm glad that you are having a great day on today. You got a chance to watch some of the footage. You saw Red Raiders respect. You saw some coverage from the girls' tennis team as well as the girls' soccer team. Any thoughts from what you saw?
My thoughts, I know Coach talked about, tennis kind of coming back and, trying to grow and everything. And the key thing that they said was having fun. That's where it starts at. And I mean, their expectation, they could do it. That one win will lead to 2. So we got faith in you guys that you can get it done.
All right. See the coach coming out of Coach Keisha. She's the coach. And she's giving some motivation to the coach. To say 1 leads to 2 and 2 will lead to 4 and so forth and so on. How do you feel about the coverage that the network is seeking to give to these sports that don't necessarily get as much coverage?
I think it's amazing, like seeing tennis and then and seeing a little bit of the soccer practice. It's amazing because all the sports, all the student athletes, they work hard. So they're all deserving of the coverage.
I appreciate that. I appreciate your words. So we're going to continue on with another sport that doesn't always get a whole lot of coverage, but we're grateful to give them some coverage, and we're grateful to have their coach with us today. And before we bring in Coach Aaron Bowman, let's take a sneak peek at when I had the opportunity to go into the volleyball practice, and that'll lead us into our interview with Coach.
Toss the ball in front of you. I want you to target the corners, please. Okay, so, and from 5, you really want to go to the opposite side for 5. You got a lot more room for it, okay? Not a lollipop, but a line drive. All right, here we go. You got to shag your balls too, so you're going to 5. Yes. Lower is better. Lower is better. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Liv Wilkins. I'm a 2026 grad at Coatesville, and I'm a right side hitter and a setter, and I'm the captain of the volleyball team. And this year, we're really trying to just improve year after year. First year I was here, we didn't win that much, and we've been improving throughout the year. So we're just hoping if we had 4 wins last year, we're trying to get better, and it's already looking good. We won 2 of our scrimmages, so we're just wanting to improve. And for me personally, I want to get my serves in, my hits in, and just work on setting and everything, and just being positive and working as a team.
Hi, I'm Danny Trivet. I'm a senior, I'm a middle blocker, and I'm a captain of the volleyball team. And my team goals are to grow as a team and have a better record than years before. And my personal goal is to get a college scholarship for volleyball and to make all chess marks.
Hi, my name is Sage. I'm a junior this year and libero on the team. I hope that this season we continue to grow and develop more and improve our record. And personally, I hope I develop more as a player and stay positive.
Joining us now is Coach Aaron Bowman, very fine coach of these fine ladies who we had a chance to see the other day. How you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
We're grateful to have you on our show on today, and I want to say thank you for allowing me to come on in and get some coverage of your girls and to interview some of your girls on the other day. So thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
You know what? I'm going to call an audible, Keisha. Go ahead. You start the interview with Coach.
You know, Coach, I will tell you this. This is something that a lot of people may not know. I was on the first volleyball team at Coatesville with Miss Wallace. So it's definitely great to meet you. I should be at your September 4th game at Avongrove. So definitely would like to meet the young ladies and everything. But it's a pleasure to have you on here today. So we look forward to talking to you a little bit more, learn a little bit more about you and the program. So I do have a question for you. If you could talk a little bit more about your personal experiences, possibly playing and coaching.
Sure. So, Rev asked earlier for people to put on their graduation and stuff. I actually, don't get mad at me, but I'm a Downtown graduate, 1994. And in this area at that time, there were not teams for girls or for boys. So I actually started my playing career actually at the local church leagues, playing co-ed sixes, which is a lot different than the girls' game today. From there, I played in leagues, YMCA leagues, Westchester Rec leagues. And then I got into coaching more when my daughter started playing. She started playing club at 12U. And then I coached for that till she was 18. Got to watch her play for Downtown West. Sorry again for that. And then when she graduated, I was actually looking to get into coaching high school. I had spoken with Coach Meg, who was a coach before me, when Downtown and Coastal had played, just because I was impressed with, how they had come along, having watched them for 4 years. And I was looking to help the program, knew that they had no middle school program. And so I originally reached out about that position, if they just needed coaches or what. And at the time, she was looking to move to her alma mater. So the varsity job opened up, and I'm starting my 3rd year. And I've learned a lot over the years from other coaches in the club and school, watching what they do. I watch a ton of Instagram videos on things. But yeah, and I still to this day do play, only just summer grass tournaments, like 3 or 4 each year. So
you must still got some good legs, Coach, still playing. No.
And let me ask Keisha real quickly, how do you feel about your volleyball coach having graduated from Downtown?
You know, it hurts a little bit, but no, I'm just playing. No, that was our pure rivalry though. But no, we definitely appreciate you being here and helping
Yeah.
pushing the program in the right direction though.
If it helps, I did go to Gordon Middle School in 8th grade for 1 year, so
That does help. Thank you. Yeah, it does.
I had
and
to
I
ask
actually
you that.
enjoyed that more than Downtown. So
Are you sure you're just saying that because you're on the show, Coach?
not at all,
Okay. All right.
not at
All
all.
right, Coach. Now, in your bio, I read that you used to coach club volleyball. And that's an expression that we hear quite a bit, especially with some of the sports. A lot of our players play in club sports in their particular sports. Can you give some insight on what club volleyball is like or what it is?
Sure. So club volleyball is like travel. Um, there's several clubs in the area. You pay to play, obviously. Um, they have different age levels, so it's 12U through 18U. You go to travel tournaments, so you practice a couple nights a week. Most clubs are 2 nights a week, and then you'll play either like a Saturday, Sunday tournament or just an all-day tournament on one of those 2 days. Um, they have different levels. They have regional, which typically just goes around this area, Pennsylvania, and then you usually have national teams, which are your high-level teams that will travel to other states. Down to Washington or Baltimore, Florida, depending on the club. And there's a big discrepancy between clubs in terms of cost. But obviously, with more cost, you're typically going to get some better coaching. But it's pay to play, so younger ages typically everybody plays, and as you get older, your playing time might decrease. But it's a great way to get started, get touches. I try and encourage my girls to play club if they can. A lot of them play other sports, so I understand that. But yeah, it's basically pay to play, go play tournaments, and practices 2 days a week.
Thanks for sharing that. Now, you possess obviously a strong enthusiasm for teaching volleyball.
Mhm.
And in your bio, you talk about how you continually seek to expand your knowledge of the game. What sparked your passion for volleyball?
Um, you know, I growing up, I played basketball and volleyball, and just was better at volleyball. So I started, and then when my daughter got into it too, um, it just kind of continued from there. But I mean, before I was married, I think I put in there too. I used to play 3, 4 nights a week. It's just a game I love to play. It's a very hard game. It's a very team game. Um, I like both those aspects. I enjoy learning, like I said, because growing up playing co-ed sixes, if you were a guy, you pretty much just hit the ball. So teaching myself to set, I enjoyed it. Things like that. But it is a team game. Everyone has to work together, and I love those aspects of it.
Now, you said something that intrigued me, and I got to be a little messy real quickly.
Okay.
So, you talked about how much you played before you got married. So, I got to ask the question: did you try to play the same amount of games once you got married, and then your wife said, "Hold up, wait a minute, that's not going to happen"?
Right. I think what happened that way, and you should actually know that I met my wife playing volleyball in the church league. So,
Okay.
so she played too. But no, it slowed down as we started to have children. Yeah, which I knew it would. It's just the right thing to do. But no, she's never really stopped me from it. And I have told her early on, you know, that it's okay to tell me no. So like now, even now I do the tournaments, like as the summer comes along, I'll look at the schedule of tournaments and pick out a couple and just let her know ahead of time. These are the ones I want to play. But yeah, you got to do the dad thing. And when you have kids and they start playing sports, it's their turn. So yeah.
All right. Keisha, you got another question for Coach?
I sure do. So it's kind of a twofold question. Talking about playing club ball, and then in the date of social media, where being seen, being known is like really important, and in a small port of like egos and things like that. So what values like do you emphasize for your team, and what is your team's culture like right now?
hmm I think we actually have a pretty good team culture. When I came in, 3 years ago, we had a lot of girls that were like really enthusiastic, and that's kind of continued on. And like they're very supportive of each other. I don't know if you can see the things behind me, but these are actually two philosophies I'm trying to introduce this year, that I stole from other people. I ain't gonna lie, but one is basically being the best at things that take no talent, right? So, we need to be the best at encouraging each other, supporting each other, cheering for each other, working hard at practice, um, things like that. And the other one is, be your best for others. So the goal isn't to be the best volleyball player on our team. The goal is to be your best that the team can be its best. And that's what I try to stress and emphasize.
Great answer.
Appreciate
I
that.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Very, very great answer. We got two more questions for you, Coach. One, tell us a little bit about your squad this year. What are some of your expectations for the squad? For in the clip, you saw three of your players share their expectations for the team as
Yeah.
well as themselves. What are your expectations for your own team?
Sure. Well, every year I expect to get better. I'm hoping that we improve, and not just just in wins, but in their volleyball skill. Um, so for this year, my goal when I started is eventually was hoping within 5 to 6 years be able to make it so we make districts. Our highest ranking so far is 45th, so we're about 20 spots off of that. In terms of this year, you know if we could beat a couple of Chestnut League teams, that would be my goal. Um, we're not quite there yet with the Unionvilles and the Shanahans that have, programs that start as early as 10 years old. Um, but we should be there with the Kennets and the Oxfords and places like that. So I'm hoping this year we can improve and they can see some wins. The last couple of years, it's been more your charter schools and things like that we've beaten. Um, so and the girls this year, the ones to look for, you saw one of them was Danny, our middle. We have two great middles this year. They're both seniors, so I really want to send them out, well. I actually have a lot of seniors this year, so they're two players definitely to watch for. One of the other girls you saw live changed positions in her senior year, so we have just girls that are willing to do things like that. So that really is my goal and my expectations that we get better and we continue to improve as a team in this league, to fight and compete with them.
Last question for you, Coach. In your bio, you talked about your aim is to grow the program at Coatesville. What strategies do you envision implementing to achieve the growth that you seek to aim
Mhm.
for?
Right. Well, I think the biggest thing is trying to get a middle school program started. Like as I mentioned, our girls, I had 14 ninth graders walk into tryouts this year. I wish I'd known that ahead of time and could have grabbed another coach and started a ninth grade team because that was amazing. But of all the 14, only one girl had ever played before. So getting that program started sooner so that they're not walking in ninth grade. Their only experience is gym class or the family picnic would be a huge step in growing the program. Getting more girls involved in club would help with that as well. Um, but again, there's a cost involved in club. So, the school is the main focus. Um, I've also toyed with, I have another daughter that's playing club, so I coach her team. Would love to be able to find some extra time to run a Saturday clinic for middle school age girls or things like that. So those are the things, but the biggest goal right now is trying to get that middle school team started so that they have a couple years experience. Uh, I think that would go a long way towards growing the program. And it's tough because 25 spots in my team and between JV and varsity, and 40 girls tried out. So there's definitely interest in Coatesville for volleyball, and I would love to be able to either have a JV B team or a ninth grade team. But I think it needs to start with middle school first, getting coaches involved and getting those programs started before we move into that. But those are the things that that I see are the needs and trying to work with Lisa to get started.
That pipeline would definitely go a long way. Keisha, you got any closing comments for a coach?
No real closing comments, but I do work in athletics, but I am definitely going to get to a game. I want to see the young ladies. And this is if you guys need anything, I'll reach out to you so we can make that happen and get some alums together.
That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Coach, before we let you go, your season is about to start. Make a pitch to the city of Coatesville on why they should support you and your girls this season.
Well, it's a great sport to come watch. You learn a lot, and a lot of enthusiastic girls. Come on out and support them. I know that they all come out and support, especially football, but other sports as well. So let's reciprocate that, and let's get it to where all the sports are supporting each other, coming out to each other's games when you don't have one yourself. And that's what I like to see.
Coach, that was well said. Thank you so much for your time. I'm looking forward to catching your girls, getting some coverage from time to time. We appreciate you joining us tonight, and we wish you the best during this season. And if the Seville community doesn't mind, let's show some love to Coach Aaron Bowman. Dismiss the fact that he's a graduate of Downtown, but increase the fact that he is your coach of the girls volleyball team at Coatesville. Thank you so much, Coach. Job well done tonight. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Keisha, how did you enjoy listening to Coach Bowman? Do you have a heart for the volleyball team? After all, you played for the volleyball team. So what are your thoughts after that interview?
That was a great interview. Definitely first time hearing or seeing him or whatever. So I love his fire for the game. It was good to see the young ladies speak. They have a lot of tenacity. You can feel it. So hopefully it transfers into some wins for them this year.
All right. Well, thanks for those comments. And again, we thank Coach Bowman. This is a coaches show on tonight, and we move from volleyball to the greens, to the golf. And it was my pleasure on last Thursday to view the golf team as they played against Bishop Shanahan. And I have some coverage from that day, spending time with the team and Coach Castaldi. And also, we have some of his players who interviewed with me who shared their expectations for the team as well as themselves. So before we bring Coach Castaldi in, let's check out his players, what they did on the greens, and what their expectations are for this year.
I'm Carson Holmes. I'm a senior this year. My team expectations for us, we should definitely have a winning season for the first time in a while. We got a good group of guys for once, so I think we could put together some wins. As for me, I'm looking to play college golf after high school, so that's my big goal right now, and just working towards that.
My name is Sean Kinsler. I'm a senior, and expectations for this year is we got a young team, so hopefully we can go low, put some W's on the board hopefully this year, and I don't know, it's going to be exciting. For myself, just kind of help the team out best I can, is do my job.
My name is Braylon Crane. I'm going into 11th grade. My team expectations are let's try to get over 500, win a few games, and then my expectations are just play my best golf, try to be the best version I can.
My name is Braden Jacket. I'm in 11th grade, and some team expectations for us this year is to have a winning record. Like Carson said, we have a good group of guys, and hopefully we can execute and get a couple more wins throughout the season. And some personal goals, I would like to make it past districts and do good in states and maybe get a couple offers.
My name is Anna Parker. I'm graduating in the class of 2027. It's been good playing as one of the only girls out on the team. I've met some other girls who've all been great, and all the guys have been super welcoming, and I feel like part of the team. My personal goals for this season are just to keep putting up low numbers, keep trying to break 40, and contribute to the team. And my goal for the team is just to keep a winning record, put some wins up, and have a good season.
The Coatesville golf team is off to its best start under the leadership of Coach Jason Castaldi. On Thursday afternoon at the Coatesville Country Club, the Red Raiders continued their strong run with a victory over Bishop Shanahan. The team was led by junior Braden Jacket, who fired an impressive 35 to pace Coatesville. Supporting his effort were standout performances from seniors Carson Holmes and Nuge Willard, along with juniors Anna Parker and Landon Reginski, who all contributed to the win. The atmosphere was charged with excitement, and even the sports rev was on hand to witness the Red Raiders triumph firsthand. With confidence building and momentum growing, Coatesville looks poised for a promising season ahead. Here is a clip of Coach Castaldi speaking to the team following their Chestnut League victory.
Way to hang in there. I can't tell what you guys are thinking out there. You're keeping your composure. You're keeping your face, your game face on. So I can't tell from hole to hole. And that's, to me, that's good. Because when I look out, sometimes I can see negative body language. You don't always show the positive body language. So when I don't see the negative, there's probably something good going on there.
Coach Castaldi is joining us tonight on the Seville Sports Mentality Show. If you don't mind, Seville family, let's show Coach Castaldi some love as he is joining us, representing the Seville golf team. Coach Castaldi, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're having some problems with your audio. Let's see. We don't have any audio from you. All right, Coach, try to work on it right quick. We'll come right back to you. And if you have a Bluetooth on or something like that. All right, we'll try to work it out. That was one of my best setups. Unmute yourself, Keith. Yeah, that was one of my best setups, man. I feel cheated on that one. I feel cheated.
It was good.
Oh, man, I felt cheated on that one. I was ready to bring them in, do that underhand pitch. All you had to do is knock it out. Knock it out. Yeah, so we're going to try, Coach, in just a second. Let's try them again. Let's see. Coach, we got any sound? No sound. No bueno. We're going to try to see if we can get somebody to work with these, see if we get that sound up. Matter of fact, Coach, if you got your phone nearby, just try your phone. All right, just do your phone if you got to do it that way. All right, we'll come back to Coach Castaldi, but it was a joy the other day being able to ride in the golf cart with Coach Castaldi on the greens. The greens at the Coatesville Country Club is quite peculiar. It's very hilly. And Coach was driving down those hills like he had driven it so many times. I was getting a little nervous going downhill because all I was thinking is this cart might tip over.
He got a pretty skill.
He clearly knew the terrain quite well. He knew how to navigate left, right, up, down. So I was definitely in good hands. And it was just a joy to talk to him. He was very pleasant on the greens. Gave me as much access. I never shot footage for golf in my life, and he was giving me pointers. This may be a good shot over here, or that might be a good shot over there. So I truly appreciate what he did, and I'm trying to wait for him to come up again, maybe in another box if he's doing his phone. Let's see if somehow he might have worked some magic with his laptop. Yeah, still no sound. All right, we'll wait for you to pop up on your phone. All right. All right, good evening, Kim. That's our network coordinator. Let me say good evening to Sister Verdell Beckman watching the show all the way from Columbia, South Carolina. I'm always appreciative of my mother, Sister Sylvia, joining us on tonight, watching the show. And while we're having some downtime, please, if you don't mind, like the 610 Seville Sports Network Facebook page and YouTube channel. If you don't mind doing that, that would be greatly appreciated. Matter of fact, while we're waiting on Coach, one of the other coaches popped in. So we'll go ahead and try to interview the other coach. Coach Ortega, our football coach, is in the building. So we'll give Coach Castaldi a chance to get himself settled. Before we bring Coach Ortega on, let's show a little footage that took place on Friday night as Coach's team won their first victory of the year. Let's look at it. Coach Matt Ortega is with us on tonight. How you doing, Coach?
How you doing?
All right, you made me a little nervous there. I thought you didn't have any sound either, but thank you for that sound right there. But we're glad to have you on today on the Seville Sports Mentality Show. We know that you're a busy man, and we truly appreciate you taking the time to be with us on tonight. Let's just jump in real quickly. Friday Night Lights, your team, big time victory, 35-10. What do you have to say about your team and their performance on Friday night?
Yeah, we put a lot into that week one game. After last year when they beat us, it was kind of our whole off season was, getting back and starting the season off with Garnet Valley, and we really prepared a lot all summer for them, and we came out Friday night and took care of business.
Coach, your team was impressive, especially after, and I'll say it for you. I don't know if you get fined for saying things, so I'll say it for you. After that horrible call that they made during the game where they called a roughing the kicker after the kicker became a run. And I don't want you to get fined, and the network doesn't have money to pay your fine, so I'm not going to ask you to comment on that. But the game was pretty close at that moment, and that could have easily changed the tide of the game. How were you able to rally your team together and be able to allow them to push forward? And then after that call, it seemed like they just went nuts. So how did you keep them together?
That's one of the things we talk about. We kind of faced a lot of adversity in our first scrimmage. So last week we kind of worked out those kinks, in our first scrimmage against Wilson. And, from a coach's standpoint, we use that going into the Garnet Valley week, explaining how, we're going to face adversity. Let's learn from the scrimmage and let's learn how to overcome it, come season. And we obviously did that on Friday, and again, the guys salty us, and I always tell them, let me handle it. You guys just go out there and play football, and as the head coach, I'll handle the referees, and that's what I tried to do.
Well, you definitely handled it. You definitely handled it. from I was in the press box, and you let the referees have it, and rightfully so. And that was wonderful how you stood up for your team. So before I ask Keisha to ask you a question, you got to be a proud father. Your son played a phenomenal game, only made one incomplete pass, went on to throw for 3 TDs. won't you have a proud daddy moment right now and just talk about your son's performance during the game?
Yeah, it's been a work in progress with him. It's been big shoes to fill for him following, his oldest brother Ricky, and then following Harrison Susie after that. So he took his lumps as a sophomore and got better as a junior. And you can look for that in your senior quarterback. With him having as many starts as he has under his belt, we kind of expected him to come out there and seem like a veteran quarterback, and you saw that Friday night. And obviously very proud of us, proud father. He's worked so hard to get to that point and to follow those guys' footsteps. And he went out there Friday night. And he's kind of, hoping he can create his own path and his own legacy his senior year.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And that's wonderful. He said as not only a father, but also as a coach. Keisha, what you got for Coach?
What I got for Coach? Well, nice to run past with you again, Coach. I met him through Lincoln a couple years ago, and as being an alum, definitely bleed red and black. So I love when you guys are getting to him on the green. Love it. So I mean, a lot of people probably do know, but if you could just maybe give the condensed version of what really drew you into coaching and what keeps you motivated every day for these young men.
I just knew at a very, very young age, that I wanted to be a part of football. When I was in high school, I had a great head coach in Scott Feldman, who was my mentor, and he coached me at Still High. And just being a part of his program and seeing the relationship that he had with his players and just seeing, how much fun we had, lifting and running as a team and, seeing how we interacted with our coaches and built relationships for life and friendships. And it just, I really, really felt at a young age, that's what I wanted to do. And then I had that luxury to coach for him at Lancaster McCaskey High School. And then I went on to have my first head job at York. And then when I came to Coatesville, believe it or not, he was my first hire. So when I came to Coatesville, my high school football coach, my mentor, was my first hire. And he came with me and he spent 11 good seasons here with me in Coatesville. And, just the motivation comes from just, changing lives and relationships. My players are like my sons, and again, I know it's a cliche, but it is the truth. Sports teaches our young men and our young women who play sports, it teaches them adversity, teaches them things for life. It truly does. And, that's what drives us every day. And, I could say, Nate, I don't want to embarrass anybody, but there's players on our team that even like right now, you see the growth process from the time that they were ninth graders at the time now. It's just, it makes that it makes all the hard work we put in, it makes it worth it. And again, it's aside from the winning. When you see these kids turning around and grow in the classroom and grow on the field and grow with their leadership skills, it's what drives us every day and keeps us motivated.
Coach, can I piggyback off of that real quick? So it was had a kind of question for you. So how are you able to manage and balance the athletic goals with winning? Because you guys do a good job of that, but the importance of academics and character development. Because sometimes as student athletes, sometimes they get a bad rep. But how do you manage all of those levels?
Yeah, it's definitely a work in progress. It's definitely something that we try and work on and try and develop. And we do have a lot of time with them. From May to the season. So I mean, I've been with them 4 days a week since June 1st, all the way till the game on Friday. So in that time frame you spend with them in the months of May, June, and July, that's when you're trying to build those things and, like I said, develop that within your team. But along with that, the academic piece, our standards here at Coatesville are actually higher than anybody in the areas, so, for our athletes, they have to get it done in the classroom. They can't play. So, they want to play football, so they're going to get their grades right. But it doesn't stop there. I pull the grades every marking period, and I have a luxury of having some coaches in the building, and I give each coach, hey, you got these 20 players. This coach has 20 players. I have these 20 players. And we'll go through the report cards with them. So I think when you go through with them, when the season's over and you're still spending time with them, marking period 2, 3, and 4, that's how you build your culture, and that's how you get your kids to buy in, and they know that you care about them more than a football player because you're spending time in the off season to make sure they're doing good in the classroom. So that's kind of been the hidden secret to success for us, is staying in contact with our kids throughout the entire school year, even when the football season's over.
That's amazing, Coach. Love that.
Appreciate you sharing that, Coach. So let's go back to the gridiron. You're fortunate to have two big-time D1 prospects. One is already committed, Terry Wickens, to Penn State. Also, Max Hill is being recruited by Lottie Dottie and everybody. So, with that being said, just tell us a little bit more about Terry and Max that the average fan may not know about those two particular players.
I think the thing that stands out to me both about those two is, we're in a culture that's about me, and what have I done, and it's all about their own accolades. These two guys, and again, people can say the thing that stands out to me is they are team players. They care about their high school teammates. They care about their community. It's one of the reasons why they stayed here when everybody was recruiting them to leave here and go play at other high schools. They are great teammates. And I think that's the biggest thing and the biggest attribute they have, because we already know they're good in the classroom because they're getting recruited. We already know that they're good athletes because we cannot, obviously they wouldn't have these offers if they weren't good football players. But to me, what stands out is they truly care about playing high school football at Coatesville. They truly care about their community, and their players love them. And that was one of the things when they were getting recruited. The recruiters would ask me the same thing. And I said, in today's world, when you have somebody from your hometown, he's getting all these accolades, everybody starts hating on him because they're getting all these accolades and they're not getting them. Well, these guys celebrate their accolades because they know how hard they work, and they know how much they care about their team. Those guys are excited for them when they're getting all these accomplishments and getting all these offers. There's no hating going on. And that only happens when their character's good, and that's what stands out the most about those two.
Thank you for sharing that about those two players. And we look forward to seeing some more great things from them, as well as other players from your team. Now, you've entered into your 17th season as the head coach here in Coatesville. What would you attribute your coaching longevity to?
I feel like our vision's been set on the right thing. We talk about it all the time. Over the 17 years, we've averaged like 10 wins a year. And, we have great players. Yes, we do. But when you look at any sports, whether it's baseball, basketball, it doesn't matter what level it is. When you have consistency like that, it has to be, the foundation has to be built the right way. So through all the ups and downs that we've faced as a community, as a school district over the 17 years I've been here, the reason why we've been able to stay consistent is we have a strong community base. We have players who are bought in, and we're able to learn from adversity and grow and move on forward after it, and not quit. We use our adversity, and we use it as motivation. That's really what stands out to me why, we've been able to stay consistently good over the 17 years I've been here. And again, the foundation's been based on the right thing. I mean, our proudest moment is, we've had probably over 60 kids going to play college football and receive money in the form of a scholarship, whether it was Division I or Division II. That's the main reason why we've been consistent and why we've won, because our foundation is built around that piece there. And we always say, if we take care of our academics and we're doing those things, the wins will take care of themselves.
Nicely stated. You have developed a culture referred to as the Ville mentality. Will you define what the Ville mentality is for the listeners?
Yeah, that Ville mentality was developed by Avery Young. We all know who he is. And, I think he was a part of the very beginning, when I came here in 2009, he was, I think he was like maybe 5th or 6th grade. And he was able to see all those players that played ahead of him, the Kyle Carricks, the Manny Stalkers, who were the big FBS players that we had here when I first got here. And he's able to learn from those guys through all of our success when we kind of turned the program around in 2011 and 12. He was a part of seeing that, and then his brother was able to be a part of that. And I think the Ville mentality comes from what I just talked about, us being able to overcome all the negative publicity we have, in the paper, all the things that we have to deal with at times with our surroundings and things that happen in our community. We're able to use those and embrace those struggles to our advantage and allow us to move forward no matter what. Just like you saw on Friday, the referees one-sided. Well, we have to overcome it. It's Coatesville. Those are the kind of things that the Ville mentality is. It's being able to fight over adversity and be tougher than the opponent. That's truly, truly what it means to us.
Well said. Thank you so much. Keisha, you got anything else for Coach before I continue on?
No, I am good. Great interview so far. Yes.
All right. Well, that's my cue to keep it on the gas. Coach, we're going to let you out of here in just a moment. Again, we truly appreciate your presence. And if you don't mind, hit the share button, hit the like button, let somebody know that you're watching the Seville Sports Mentality Show on this evening. Earlier this year, you made history as the first minority head coach in the prestigious Big 33 Football Classic, an all-star game featuring players from Pennsylvania and Maryland. How do you feel about achieving this milestone, and what was your experience like coaching in that game?
It was awesome. It was a long time coming, not just for me, but for many coaches. And the one thing that stands out to me is there's going to be many, many more to come. One of the proudest things of being a part of the PSFCA is seeing how the minority growth in our coaches association has grown tremendously just within the last 5 years. We have what we call directors, and believe it or not, at one time there was 5 or 6 years ago, it was only 2 minority directors in the whole state of Pennsylvania out of 50. Now in 2025, 5 years later, we probably have about 8 to 10. So, being a part of that progress and being part of the diversity committee, for the PSFCA, it was just awesome to be able to be the first person to do it. But I'm just excited for how many other doors are going to be open for many of the minority coaches here moving forward. That's probably the best part of it. I was able to do it, but it just has opened the door for all the coaches that we have in the Philadelphia Public League, all the minority coaches we have in the Harrisburg area, and all the minority coaches we have out in Pittsburgh. Just excited to see how many more of those guys get opportunities in the future.
That's wonderful that you're on mind, paving the way for others. That's a great thing. Now, we cannot let you get off this interview without talking about 2012. You got it, Coatesville. You saw how he lit up right there, Keisha. When I said 2012, he lit up like a Christmas tree. You got it, Coatesville, to the 2012 state championship game. Can you provide insight into what made that season so remarkable?
I think what made it remarkable was, again, talking about what, we said earlier about the Ville mentality. What people don't know, I don't know if people remember, we started the season out 2-2, and, one of the things as a coach, we came in as a staff, and there was so much that went into that because we kind of know what has happened after that, years after that, where there were so many things at play. There were so many things that were distracting our football team, and we were able to get together as coaches going into week 5 of the season. We were able to make some changes and change the offense. And, from that point forward, it's kind of was the start of the whole, 17-year, Coatesville mentality, 10 wins a year. It all stemmed from coaches being in the room, going into week 5 game, changing the offense that fits our athletes here in Coatesville. And from after that, it took off, and it was just an amazing year. We scored the most points in District 1 history in the playoffs. It was an awesome season. And the biggest thing from there is just to see all those players move on, and now they're husbands and their fathers. And I've happened to have a couple of them coach for me now, which is awesome. It was it was an awesome experience. And I'll never forget looking around. Hershey Stadium has never had that many people, and that is the truth. That they have never had that many people at a state championship game the last 10 years. That was the most attended state championship playoff game in the last 10 or 12 years.
Wow. And we must say that team will be inducted to the Coatesville Hall of Fame this fall. So congratulations to you and that team that will be inducted in the Coatesville Hall of Fame. Now, I have to ask this question, and it's a personal question because your quarterback happens to be a member of my church, Emmett Hunt.
Yep.
And Emmett was your starting quarterback, and he put up some phenomenal numbers. Now, here's the question I'm going to ask. He's currently the offensive coordinator for Christiana in Delaware. Back then, would you have ever envisioned that he would be a coach?
It's funny. There's probably 4 or 5 guys on that team that it would have, like when they were in high school as a staff, we talk about it all the time. It wouldn't have surprised us if there's many times we said, Chris Jones, Emmett Hunt, Vinny Williams, there's a possibility they're going to be football coaches one day. And here we are, they are. They were guys who were just ahead of the curve at their time in high school. Their understanding of football was you heard the whole story before where you either have it or you don't.
Right.
Those guys had something a little different with them in high school in terms of the way they saw things. it doesn't surprise me one bit that they turned out to be coaches, and especially Emmett Hunt.
All right, we're going to let you go on this, Coach. You have a big game Friday. Smyrna is coming to Coatesville. Tell us a little bit about what we should expect coming from our team, and invite us, if you don't mind, to why we should come to the game on Friday night at Coatesville.
It's going to be a lot different of a game. You know, this team kind of mirrors us in terms of the kind of team they are, the kind of athletes they have. So when you go out there Friday night, you're not going to see that triple option, 3 yards in a cloud of dust type offense. They're going to be pretty much running the same exact offense we run with players that are just as athletic as we are. So it's going to be an electrifying game. It's probably, I feel it's probably one of our top 3 toughest games this football season. So that's even more reason to come out Friday night. It's going to be a heck of a game, and we're real excited.
All right. Well, Coach, we want to thank you so much for taking out the time to join us on the Seville Sports Mentality Show. We hope that this will not be your last time joining us. Hopefully, you may be able to squeeze us in your schedule as the season goes on, and we definitely would love to have you. And Seville, if you don't mind, can you show some love to your football coach, Coach Matt Ortega Sr.? Thank you so much, Coach, for joining us.
Hey, I'm here anytime. All right.
All right, I'm going to hold you to that now. I'm going to hold you to that. All right, thank you so much, Coach, for joining us. Oh, that was a great interview with Coach Ortega. What do you have to say about your football coach after that interview, Keisha?
Oh, he has me fired up. I might have to take a drive from Maryland just to come to the game on Friday night. Yeah,
Hey.
but great coach, great person or whatever. Just love what he's doing with the young men, and definitely looking for Friday for a team that's kind of matched up to them to kind of see what type of show we'll put on.
No doubt. Let's give out some shout outs. Some people have tuned in to us. Again, I think our Instagram feed is back up, so people are watching us on Instagram. Hello, everybody on Instagram. We can't show any of your comments if you're making any comments. If you want to comment, you want your comments to be shown, come to Facebook or YouTube. My daughter is tuning in, Michelle Harris, and she's been helping me out this week with the network. Thank you so much, Michelle. Glad you're tuning in. I think you know this next person real well. Somebody's mama has joined the Seville Sports Mentality Show.
She belongs to me.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Good evening, Sister Wanda, one of the great members of First Baptist Church, Passtown. We're praying for you in a very special way. Steve Brazel Sr. has joined us on today. Glad to have you. Thank you so much for tuning in. We truly appreciate everybody for joining in. And we're going to bring in Coach Castaldi in just a moment. And I see 2 windows. Coach, close that other window out if you don't mind, so we won't have that echo in the background. That'll be greatly appreciated. I think he's back there. Looks like he might be doing the mannequin challenge. We hope that he's not frozen. All right, so we'll get to him in just a second. I see him moving. Cool. So we must be all right. Well, we already showed the clip of his team. So now let's talk to the coach of the team. And I think you know this, Keisha. He's a Coatesville area high school alum. Coach Jason Castaldi. Do we have sound, Coach?
Please tell me it's working this time.
Oh,
let's go, Coach.
Okay. That was totally my fault. I'm so sorry. I missed the sound check.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So now you can tell other coaches there's a reason why they do a sound check.
Yeah, we were in a heated battle today. I couldn't get there in time for the sound check. I missed it by about 10 to 15 minutes. And now I got to follow up Coach Ortega's interview. It's not quite fair there.
It's all good. It's all good. After talking with you on Thursday, you're up for the challenge. And this show is going to even go to even higher heights.
All right.
Coach, thanks so much for joining us today. And in a real way, thank you for making the sacrifice for your team. Had a match today. Before we get to that, let's talk about Thursday. You were really excited about your team's win over Bishop Shanahan. Your team at that time got one game over 500. Tell us why that was such a feat for your program.
Well, we don't beat Shanahan very often. They're one of the better programs around here, and their coach has been around almost as long as I have, and he's he's one of the top end coaches, one of my peers, and I always like to compete against him and his team. So it's just really great to finally pull one out in a close victory. I think it was 204 to 200, roughly. It came down to a few strokes, and to win a close one against a rival in the Chestmont Nationals, it was really nice.
Coach, you had a match today. How did that go?
We played Avon Grove at home today, and I think we may have put up our second best score in 2 decades and still came up too short.
Wow.
We put up a 186. 186, that usually wins every time, and they put up a 184. The team was really proud of what they did. You can't be upset at that because you can't play defense in golf. We can't go out there and kick their ball around or keep them from hitting the ball in the hole. So hats off to Avon Grove. Their kids brought it. They had one kid shoot a 33, 2 under today. So it's hard to fade that when they go really low. But they put 6 guys under 40. We put 4 guys under 40. So it was a really great match, probably the lowest total of 2 teams in a very long time.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you sharing that. And big ups to Coach Bill, even in losing fashion, playing extremely well on today. Before I throw it over to Keisha, let me ask you this question. What is the experience like serving as the head golf coach at your alma mater?
I didn't catch that one, Rev. It broke up a little bit.
All right, let me ask you again. What is the experience like serving as the head golf coach at your alma mater? Might be having some technical difficulties.
Audio's not coming through, Rev.
Okay, we can hear you. All right.
If you're hearing me okay, you could put the question in the chat. It just
All right.
a little robotic.
You could tell he's a real coach, so we're gonna try that. Coming through the chat, Coach.
Apologies,
Even though you
I'm never being interviewed. My mic wasn't set up.
All right, so we're gonna do the chat real quickly. So we're gonna get through this interview by any means necessary. So here we go through the chat. And Keisha, if you want to start getting your question ready for the chat, go ahead and do that.
I sure will.
The experience serving head coach at my alma mater, it's incredible. There's not a very long line of coaches to come through with the golf team. I think Coach Mike Hemlock goes back as far as I remember into the 70s, maybe even before that. And then my coach in high school was Mooch Taylor, followed by Ken Jordan, and they were both my teachers, and I got to play golf with them in the years after. So I'm really the 4th in line. It's pretty much all I can remember. So to be one of the select few to run this program, it's really special having been a part of it and just seeing what it's become.
All right. There's another question.
How do I balance team success with individual success and development? I have many different skill levels on my golf team. I keep 29 on the roster this year, and they all have different levels of ability. So we have to create our own goals at the beginning of the season. Obviously, we have our team goals. We want to defend our home course. We want to get a winning record. But we also have our individual goals as far as progressing through the playoffs, getting through Chestmonts, through districts into states. And some of the other kids are just to get some playing time and develop their skills so that they can compete and contribute during their junior and senior years. So I have a handful of sophomores and a couple freshmen this year that have to have their own goals, and it's just about getting out there and improving. So having those goals at the beginning of the season is what really drives us through the season.
All right. Keisha, I'm gonna send him another question.
An overview of the last 20 years. That's a crazy ride. When I started, it was 2005, 2006, somewhere in there. And there were only 11 players on the team at that time. I remember going to matches, and we didn't have enough to field the 8 that are required to play in a match. We were taking 6 and 7 a few times. So from that point, I decided I want to make sure that we're doing right by this program and getting enough people in there to compete for the rest of the Chestmont. It's not right to go out there and throw wins to the other teams on one side of the Chestmont while the other side is competing really hard. So I wanted to make sure I had the numbers, and that was the biggest thing that has changed since the start of my career is I brought the numbers up pretty high. This year is the most I've ever had, just shy of 30. So going from 11 to 30 has really made a difference. We've had some highs, we've had some lows. Never had the winning season, so somebody must like what I'm doing. It's not wins and losses. Thankfully, that's the case. But I've seen a lot of crazy things out there. If you remember Sammy Stout a few years back, getting 2 hole-in-ones in a 9-hole match. I mean, that was a lot of exposure for a golf team that never really got much. And then we had some seasons where we were 0-14, 0-15, not even close sometimes. So we've seen it all. We've been competitive, we've been non-competitive, and it feels really good right now to put up some probably school record-breaking numbers this season and last season, even when the wins weren't always there.
All right.
What opportunities are there for players who want to continue playing golf at a higher level? Golf has become really competitive, especially on the boys' side. I can see a lot of our guys in the chess mind playing D2, D3 for sure. It takes really special talent to get to D1 now, and if you do, the scholarships are difficult to obtain because they're usually splitting them amongst the team members. So just looking for a place to play, if that's your goal, it's out there. D2, D3 academic scholarships can mix in there. On the girls' side, it's still pretty much wide open. If you're a girl who's shooting in the 80s in high school, you're going to get some looks from some decent colleges. So that opportunity is out there. Golf is booming right now. A lot of kids are playing it. So the colleges are having a good time getting all these good players, and it trickles down to some colleges that didn't always have a strong golf team, and they're looking for players as well. So the opportunity is there for those who want it. It's just a matter of what they want academically as well.
All right.
What are some of the challenges I've encountered? Just a stacked chessmont. The chessmont golf league is incredible right now. With all the kids playing, Tiger Woods made golf popular, but ironically, it was COVID that really created a second boom recently. When everybody was quarantined, the first thing you could do coming out of the quarantine was golf. It was one of those recreational things you could do. So people discovered it, or they rediscovered it. Kids were out playing a lot more, joining clubs. Country clubs are hopping again, especially Coatesville Country Club, which has been wonderful to us. So all those things have really brought golf back into the picture. And for a long time, it was the numbers. It was the learning curve of taking kids from the baseball team, from Coach Zig, and trying not to ruin their baseball swing too much, just to get them to come out and compete a little bit. So just tough competition. It's a hard sport. If you've ever played it and you haven't excelled at it, that ball's just looking at you. But it can be really difficult. And to take someone who's just starting the game, it might have been at a disadvantage from some of the kids who were starting from ages 4 and 5. So that unlevel playing field and the competition has been really difficult.
All right. Coach has some technical difficulties on his side, so this is why we are typing in our questions to him, and he's doing a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job.
Next one. Let me keep going. I see what are some goals for this season? How do you plan to execute that? We do want to have a winning season. Personally, I've never had one, so that's at the top of my list, and it's there this year. And to do that, we really have to defend our home course. And we've done that out of the gate here. We're 3-1 at home with that tough loss today. So we are defending our home course early in the season. We have to travel a little bit more in the end of the season, which gets difficult playing the other teams where they're comfortable. So I have to make sure that I'm getting them ready to play away and understand how to play those golf courses when it's time. So. Yes, I can help the top golf. I can totally help. We talked a little bit. I enjoyed talking on the golf course the other day, and you talked about your experience with the game. And I've never been one to go out and say, "Hey, pay me for lessons." A lot of people have asked. I'm not a teaching pro. I just have a good understanding of the swing and the game, and I can help some people here and there. So if you ever want to go to the driving range, I definitely would do that.
Thanks, Coach.
Next, you want to talk about Anna Parker. Anna is a junior this year. She came out as a sophomore. She goes to Avon Grove Charter. They don't have a golf team, so she's eligible to play. She's a Coatesville kid, member of the Coatesville Country Club. And you have to give her a lot of credit for coming out and playing on the boys' team. She and Zoe Moles are the only two girls on the team out of the 29. And they come out, they compete with the boys. If Anna's playing the top 8 a bunch, she goes out and she has to play against the boys because a lot of these other schools have girls' teams. So because we don't have the girls' team yet, which is a goal at some point, she has to compete with the boys. And she's happy to do it. It seems like she's fit right in. She's gelled with the team. She's made friends. And I think she might even be disappointed if I had a girls' team next year and she couldn't play with the current team. So hats off to Anna. She's playing great golf. She's been shooting to break under 40, and she's done it a couple times. So I give her a lot of credit for that. My team captains, we're looking at Nuge Willard and Carson Holmes. You know, if you've been around Nuge, he just has that gravity, he has that aura about him. The other kids like to be with him. He knows how to bring people up. He's organizing. He helps me through our team app to get everybody on the same page. He's just that kind of leader that you want to go out there when you're at a different part of the golf course. He can run a practice for you. He can do those things. And he's been a real help to me as a coach. Carson, same way, different mentality. Carson's very level-headed. He's earned the respect through his play, the way that he interacts with his teammates. He has the target on his back for the kids that are shooting for him because he's been our number one for so long. And it's a healthy competition that he brings. I see it a lot with Braden right now. He's playing through the roof. He shot 1 under 34 today. Landon Rajensky 36 today. So they're gunning for him, and that's it's his job as a captain to make everybody else better, and he's doing that.
Yeah, Coach is having some technical difficulties, so we're typing in our questions to him.
It's all me on the screen. I see this. I know. I do want to thank everybody in the community. They see our results in the paper, but it's not a whole lot. And I get people asking me all the time, how's the golf team doing? How's the golf team doing? How are different players doing? So I'm very appreciative of everyone taking notice of what we're trying to do. It hasn't always been that way. I think your program is wonderful to get exposure to some of the smaller teams. I enjoyed seeing things about the girls' soccer and the volleyball. I never get to see the tennis because they're fall sports and I just have my hands full. It was great to see that. So I think what you're doing is wonderful for getting exposure to our people, and it really draws in the community to build Coatesville sports from top to bottom, not just football and basketball, but also tennis and golf too. So thank you to Coatesville. Thank you to the Coatesville Country Club. We don't have a team without the Country Club. They've been wonderful to us the whole ride. They treat me so well, the team so well, and they're excited to see what we're doing too. So it's a total Coatesville endeavor, and we're very thankful for everybody's support.
All right. We're going to thank Coach. He can't hear us thank him, but he has done a phenomenal job. He taught us something that if we have audio problems, just type it in the chat. And we
glad it worked out.
We were able to get through the interview, and thank you so much. And we look forward to more coverage on the golf team. And if you don't mind, Seville family, can you show some love to Coach Jason Castaldi, class of 1995, Coatesville Area High School. All right. We got through that, Keisha.
We got through it.
My goodness, this is a Seville sports mentality first. We've never had to type in our questions, but he was a champ. And we truly appreciate that he had the vision to go head on and say, just type it in the chat.
Well, Coach Ortega say either you have it or you don't. So we're going to do what we got to do.
Hey, he got it. He got it. Where there is a will, there is a way. So we thank Coach Castaldi, and we hope that this will be his last time on the show. I must admit, I'm hoping I don't have to type it in the chat again, that I can talk directly to him. But if we have to do it, we'll have to do it. So he did a phenomenal job. And Lance Ziegler showing them some love. Kim showing them some love. And your mama's just waving her hand if she can't say a word. All right. So we greatly appreciate Coach Jason. Now, I'm gonna put you on the spot. We did this last week, Keisha. So I'm gonna come at you in a different angle. I didn't prep you for this,
Okay.
right? So I want to let everybody know I did not prep her for this. But one of the reasons why we do this show is to remember the legacy of Coach Scoogie, right? Coach Scoogie, Coach James Scoogie Smith. He was one of my deacons at the church. State championship boys basketball coach, the only state boys basketball coach in Coatesville basketball history. And before I pose this to you, let me just put his face up there as we remember him, Coach James Scoogie Smith, who transitioned last year, almost a little over a year ago. And so we remember him on this show. So I want you to go back down memory lane and share with us maybe a good Scoogie Smith story that may be personal, that may have happened while you saw him coach. Then you may even remember at church. Just give us a good Scoogie Smith story.
Oh man, I have a lot of them. Definitely love that man right there. Like I said, I was kind of laid back when I was younger, but Skoog always pushed me like to be up front, push a little bit. Being a female coach really young, it's kind of tough. It's kind of male dominated field back in, I don't want to tell when I started coaching, but kind of male dominated field. But Skoog was always gave like kind words, good pushing words. And on a personal note, just seeing him around and being there and being caring, and he always had jokes. I mean, Skoog has some of the best jokes ever, and I just wouldn't trade his presence in my life for anything. Not at all. Not at all.
All right. Well, we got to thank you for sharing that, and his spirit still remains with us. His enthusiasm, his passion definitely remains with us. Well, before we leave this show, we are all about sports, but we try to give a touch of Christ with the sports show. So I'll bring you right back in just a moment, Keisha. And there's a passage of scripture that I want to lift up that's indicative of what's been going down, particularly during the sports show besides football. And let me just share this scripture real quickly. Peter writes these words, casting all your care upon him, for he cares for you. Let me see how I can combine this with what's going on with 610 to how Jesus cares for us. As I stated earlier, there were some teams, coaches, and even players prior to 610 who, in quotes, lamented the fact that they did not get coverage. They weren't seen. As a matter of fact, there's one young lady on the Coatesville girls tennis team, played 4 years, never got any coverage. And therefore, 610 was birthed to help players, teams that don't get a lot of coverage, to let them know that they are seen. Good, bad, or indifferent season, they are seen. And as some players, some teams in Coatesville may feel like they haven't been seen prior to the 610 Seville Sports Network, there are people in life who go through various trials and tribulations, some downs, some difficulties, where you feel like you're not being seen by God. And I want you to understand that just like 610 is seeing the teams and players in Coatesville, God sees you through any difficulty, trying time in your life. And therefore, I want to encourage you to do as Peter instructs us, to cast all, not some, but don't miss that 3-letter word, A-L-L, all your care upon him. for he cares for you. The care on the front side of the quote deals with your anxieties, your stresses, your troubles. The cares on the other side shows that he's concerned. So therefore, won't you cast your cares upon the one who cares for you? And the last thing, as I get ready to close, it's good news to know that Jesus will take on our cares that sometimes our own family members don't want to take on for us or even talk to us about them. So relieve some stress. Look to the hills from whence cometh help, your help, and cast your cares, your anxieties, your troubles upon the one who is concerned about you. And you'll come to find them out at God's appointed time that God will take care of all your cares. And I got a feeling that if you cast your cares upon the one who cares for you, everything will be all right. I pray that bless somebody on today. I pray that this show has blessed somebody today. And let's thank our task force member, Keisha Middleton, for joining us on today's show. Can y'all show her some love? Send up some hearts, send up some likes. If she liked doing what she did today, we will see her again. So this is a pilot, so it's on them, the task force, to see if they want to do it again. How did you enjoy being the co-host?
I enjoyed it. My personality initially is kind of laid back, so it was something new for me. But I definitely enjoyed it, and I always love talking to coaches. So sometimes you got to step out a little bit, and that's what today was.
All right, here's the grand old question before we close: would you like to co-host again?
You know what? I would do it again.
All right, you heard it. She can't renege like a bad spades player on what she just said. So we'll get her scheduled again next week. We won't have our show because it's Labor Day, and we hope that everybody will enjoy your Labor Day weekend. But we'll be back 2 Mondays from today. And task force member Josh Krantz is going to join me in the co-host seat on that particular Monday. As we close, we want to thank Coach Aaron Bowman, the volleyball coach. Also, we want to thank Coach Matt Ortega, the football coach, as well as Coach Jason Castaldi, the golf coach, for joining us for this episode of the Seville Sports Mentality Show. And thank you, Seafield, for tuning in. If you enjoyed this show, tag somebody, share this particular broadcast with somebody so that somebody else can get familiar and be a part of the Seville Sports Mentality Show. Keisha, do you have a parting word for your people in Seville? Well, you got to unmute yourself.
Always bleed Seville for life.
Say that again, one more time.
Always bleed red and black, Seville for life.
You heard it. Always bleed red and black. Red and black. Thank you so much, Keisha. Thank you so much for the love that some of you all have shown us in the chat. Until 2 weeks, peace and love, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. And don't forget to support our Coatesville varsity sports. And as we close, we'll make sure we put that schedule up there for you to be able to see. Peace and love, everybody. Have a great night.